thank you all for coming. I want to thank the department for letting me give you guys a speech. Those of you who know me pretty well will understand that I'll have a little trouble preventing myself from bragging about things I've done here at UNM a little bit. So let me quickly list these and get them out of the way. I guess first, that class you were talking about was my very first class here at UNM. And I had about 20 graduate courses since. I wrote a publishable paper in number theory, and I'm really excited to start graduate school at Columbia University in the fall. Thank you. And unfortunately, that's the last thing I'm going to say about my accomplishments here at UNM. Instead, I really want to talk about my life a little bit before I came to UNM. So here goes. When I was 16 years old, in the fall of 2008, I got very depressed and dropped out of high school. This caused a lot of worry amongst my family members. I couldn't really start my work at school. I had trouble even being happy. And so my parents immediately took action, and by the end of the year, I was having frequent appointments with a psychiatrist and a therapist. Now, I had been depressed. I had been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and the depression manifested itself in many ugly ways, including sadness and anger, but also insomnia, and I even experienced a decline in my ability to think. And so, as you know, my doctors and I would later refer to this as brain fog. But in any case, as I delved deeper into my depression, it became harder and harder to get out. My parents, especially my mother, were trying to do everything they could to get me better, but months passed and things got worse. Well, finally, my mother got me an appointment at the Mayo Clinic, so we went there and I was examined by the doctors very thoroughly. What they concluded based on the nature of my depression was that I was at very high risk for becoming schizophrenic. You know, that never did actually happen, but in any case, the trip to the Mayo Clinic was a very important turning point in my life because we finally had some idea about what was going on and what we could do about it. So when we came back, my mother found me an appointment at UNM hospitals at this program called Early. They specialized in treating cases like my own. So I got enrolled in this program early, and eventually, you know, something amazing happened. I started getting better. And not only that, I wanted to keep getting better. I wanted to keep getting better, and that was the thing. And so, you know, my depression finally started to slip away a little bit. My insomnia began to taper. I got more exercise. Eventually, I was going to bed early and getting up at a reasonable hour every day, which was a big accomplishment for me. And so, eventually, my doctors and I just started talking about, you know, what if you went back to school? So I tested for my GED, which is the equivalent to a high school diploma. I received it, and I enrolled here at UNM. And so there was only one question left, which was, why was this program Early so effective at getting me better? And I think medication does have something to do with it, but I think that's not the entire picture. But I do think I understand the picture now. So let me explain a little bit how this Early program was structured. The biggest part of the program was every week we would have these group meetings with the patients and the psychiatrists at the program. And the meetings would start with us each going around and listing one way in which our life improved. And one of the group members would write that improvement up on the whiteboard for us all to see. And I mean, that's it. So, you know, because even though it's so simple-minded, it was extremely effective because every week I got some consistent feedback some good feedback on how I was improving. And so I kept on improving. And I still do this. Every time I check up with my psychiatrist, I'm always anxious to brag to him about the things I've done since the last time I've seen him. So I guess this time I'll have graduation on that list. But, okay, so we understand. I think I understand that now. And so here's the point. So before I enrolled at this Early program, I was always willing to let other people try to help me get better. but I was never really willing to help myself get better. And that was the problem. So I think the early program really changed its dynamic. So if there's one thing I want you guys to take away from the speech today, it's the following. If you have a big problem in your life, you trying to go about solving it, it's not always enough for just you to solve it or have somebody else do it for you. Sometimes it's the combination of both that really lets you solve the problem in the end. And so you need to be able to be willing to let other people help you and be willing to help yourself. And so finally, I want to finish the speech by thanking everybody who helped me overcome my depression and become successful. So first and foremost, there's my family, especially my mother, who did everything she could, literally everything she could to try to make me get better. I love you guys, and I'm going to miss you a lot when I'm in Columbia. And then, of course, there's my doctors and my professors, especially Alex William, who's not here today. He's in Berkeley, but he mentored me throughout my undergrad career. And finally, there's all my great friends. Thank you all.